doubt.
Well, thanks so much. Cameras flooded the Woody Hayes Athletic Center this afternoon for Media Day. Before players talked to reporters, the team had their team pictures and got to spend time with their families. Well, this year's team is all on the same page when it comes to what they are focused on. Playing for a championship is in the back of their minds, but getting to the point, that point, I should say, is what they're trying to do. This week will be a big one, mentally and physically, says head coach Urban Meyer.
Well, right now we're just in, it's not survival mode yet, but by the time you hit Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's going to be pure survival mode, which is what training camp's all about.
Well, joining me now from the Columbus Dispatch, he is an Ohio State beat writer and now his second book, an author of The Chase, which we will get to in just a little bit. Bill Rabinowitz, thank you for joining us tonight. Well, today was Media Day, and we kind of got to see these guys in a relaxed environment. Overall, I thought the vibe was these guys are pretty relaxed for having a big target on their backs. What do you think of a week into training camp right now, what these guys are like?
Yeah, I think that's a very accurate description. Look, these guys have every reason to feel good about themselves. They won a national championship that nobody thought they could win. They got most of the pieces back from last year. Why wouldn't you feel good? But they also know that this week really starts. They've got the big sign, the grind. It's the grind now. It's blaring. Yes. The grind is blaring, and I wanted to talk about that because they're going to move to Coffee Fields, and Urban Meyer said this week is going to be intense. We are turning it up another level. What can coaches see out of a week like this? Can they see some players starting to separate themselves? Oh, absolutely. You find out about who you can count on in difficult times. When you're not in pads and everyone looks good, it's easy. But when you're all dragging and everyone's in pain and everyone is exhausted mentally and physically, that's when kind of you get the idea of this guy I can count on, maybe this guy I can't.
Well, Urban, as always, in every press conference, was asked about the quarterbacks today. He did say, when somebody said, is anybody, kind of moving away at all, and he said, I really think right now it's just split down the middle. Right. So what does Cardell or what does JT have to do to separate themselves in this battle right now?
Well, I think it's just a day-by-day process. I just think that whoever emerges is just going to be the guy who every day is more consistent, who the offense runs better under. That's what separated JT last year. It wasn't that he was head and shoulders above Cardell. It was just the offense moved a little bit better under him. And I think that's really going to be the test. And all the other things, the leadership, but it could be where if Cardell or JT, for that matter, just simply outperforms the other, throws a better ball, is in more command of the offense, then he'll be the guy.
Well, Braxton Miller, obviously another subject that we're talking about this training camp, not at the quarterback position, but at the wide receiver position. Now, today I asked him, with you learning a new position, what is it like? And he said it's really fun. It's almost like being a kid again and running out there and, trying something new. But there is a lot that comes with it. It is a challenge. And even like Urban said today, physically, it's a challenge because you're running a lot more. What is he going to excel in, do you think? And what is he probably going to have some difficulty with?
Well, he's never, at this level, gone against guys who are trying to take his head off. And, as a quarterback, you have to worry about the blind side, but it's not the same as running full speed and having somebody wanting to knock your head off. And so that's difficult, and catch the ball at the same time. I think he'll be very good in space. Get him the ball quickly on those swing passes, things like that. Let him be Braxton Miller. He's incredibly elusive. He's obviously very fast. You use him in that way with the idea that, assuming the shoulder's okay, he could also throw the ball from that spot.
Right.
Defenses are going to be awfully tentative trying to stop him.
It's awesome, too, to see, since he was in the quarterback position at one time, he has a good relationship with those quarterbacks. And so I know he mentioned today the transition's been smooth in a way that he can rely on those guys, and those guys trust him. So that's really been neat to see. Well, changing over to the defense, because we cannot forget about them. Coming off of a great end of last year, trying to change that over to this year and carry that on. You talk about, though, a linebackers unit that really we don't hear much about, but they were the most improved this summer. What do you expect out of this young group?
Yeah, it should be very good. Darren Lee was probably the surprise out of last year on defense. Came from nowhere. Obviously, everyone knows the story. He was a quarterback at New Albany, becomes a star linebacker in his first year. Joshua Perry is just as steady as can be. And in the middle now, full-time, is Raekwon McMillan, a five-star guy who shared time with Curtis Grant last year. Now it's his time. Everyone believes he's ready for it. He's got the physical talent. People believe he has the maturity for it. I think the linebackers will be very good this year, and they have some depth. I mean, a guy like Dante Booker and all those freshmen,
right.
They feel very good about, and it's going to be, the competition for those spots is going to be really tough, even for the guys who are starting.
Do you even think that these guys are thinking about Virginia Tech with that loss last year, or do you think it's all training mode right now?
Well, I think minute by minute it's training mode, and when they get a little break, are they thinking about September 7th? I'm sure they are.
Well, I wanted you to show us your book right now. It's called The Chase. I know that it's not out in stores right now, but how can people get their hands on it? And real quickly, what is it about?
Well, it's a story about last year's season, the championship season, and I really tried very hard to make it not a rehash. I interviewed 50 people, every coach, including Urban Meyer. It's really the story from the inside out about how this team achieved that unbelievable championship. And it can be pre-ordered on Amazon.com and also through Triumph Books, our publisher. So I'm very proud of it. I think people who really want to know what happened last year and why will enjoy it.
Well, we are excited to read that, excited to have you on set. Thank you so much, Bill, for joining us tonight.